Alright, here it is, a long-awaited dodging video. So, I guess I should start just by saying that I'm not, like, an expert. I learned a lot just from practice and talking to people in Pogo Raids Discord. And you can, like, learn how to do this very easily with just, like, a little bit of, I don't know, dedication and self-control. It's not rocket science. Trust me. Okay. So, before I talk about like what you do to dodge, I'll explain why you dodge in a raid. So when you dodge a boss's move in a raid, you only receive a quarter of the damage that you would have otherwise, plus or minus whatever kind of rounding they use. I think they use some flooring, but whatever. So like the other day I was looking at Shadow Mewtwo versus Machamp, and close combat would normally do 53 damage to Mewtwo, but if you dodge, it only does 13. So you've saved 40 HP, and sometimes you really want to save that HP. It might be because you're using a really high DPS attacker in some kind of a group T5 raid, and you want to squeeze out as many charge moves using that Pokemon as you can. So that's exactly when you want to use dodging, just to survive a little bit longer, get some more moves off before you have to move on to worse attackers, lower DPS attackers. And of course, if you want to do a 1v1 raid challenge, which is the kind of thing I'm really into, where you try to defeat the boss using only one Pokemon, no revives or relobbying, just the one, you always have to dodge, basically, to be able to survive long enough to defeat the boss. Like, there are some exceptions. I think, like Garchomp versus Alolan Raichu. I think even Groudon. But I don't call those a 1v1. That's nothing. So that's basically like why you'd want to dodge. The basic of how you dodge, I'll insert like a little clip here. The idea is that when the boss is using a move, either a fast move or a charge move, each of those has a dodge window associated to it. And when the dodge window happens, there's going to be a flash. The flash is both a yellow flash on the ground in like the arena of the raid, as well as some little lines kind of around the boss. And when that shows up, you have, I think, about 0.7 seconds to swipe to dodge, and that's it. Your Pokemon will hop to the side. You'll have text that says dodged, unless it's Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch is bugged for some reason. When you dodge that, it doesn't tell you, but you know you did. So, whatever.
So I want you to watch a slow down clip. Right here is going to be a flash for it. See that? That big flash with those lines? That was for the fast move dodge. Now at the bottom you'll see a text that says rock slide. And then right a little bit after there's the lines again for the charge move dodge. So that's an example here of me dodging both moves.
That's it. That's what dodging is. For charge moves, I guess it's kind of easier because you see the text that says Machamp uses close combat, and then you know that after, like, once actual dodge window happens, which is going to be soon, you'll dodge. You can, of course, dodge fast moves too, but you don't get the text announcing it. You just see the animation start, and then the dodge window happens, usually pretty quickly. So that's basically it. That's all that dodging is. So if you're having issues with it, it's usually going to be one of two things. The first one is if you are spam tapping. So by that I mean if you're just like tapping like this when you're raiding, that can mean that you accidentally queue too many moves, and so then when you do want to dodge, you can't because you're too busy in the animation of another move. So the way that this works is, let's say you have Confusion as your fast move. Confusion, I think, has a cooldown of 1.6 seconds. So that means that when you start a Confusion by tapping, it will last 1.6 seconds, and you'll see like a whole animation, hear the whole sound effect. You should play the sound on for more information. And then after that 1.6 seconds is up, then you can dodge or have another Confusion happen or use a charge move, whatever. If during that 1.6 seconds you actually tap the screen again before it's over, that's going to cue another Confusion. So if you spam tap, if you just tap twice, then that means you have 3.2 seconds of those two Confusions that are accounted for, and you can't dodge within that time. That's a long time to not be able to do anything. that kind of sucks. So that's how sometimes you might be stuck in those animations and then miss your dodge. Okay, so it's attacking a gym, not doing a raid, but the whole move queuing thing still applies. I'll do that same U2 example I mentioned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap twice when I get in, and you'll see that I do 2 confusions. This is what happens when you spam tap. Oh, okay. So there's 1 confusion, there's 2 confusions. 1 confusion, 2 confusions. Well, there I managed to dodge that one, but that's the idea. Is if I'm tapping too quickly, then I'll do 2 confusions in a row, which is a lot of time that I can't spend dodging or whatever. And so with a slow move like confusion, or with any other move really, you want to know exactly how long the move you're using actually takes to play out, its cooldown, so that you know how fast you have to tap. Because then if you tap only in time with that cooldown, you won't actually have to worry about missing anything, because then any inputs that you make will be immediate. So I guess there are situations where you would want to queue another move. So for instance, sometimes I know that no matter what, I'll be able to sneak in a Shadow Claw after I use a Shadow Ball with Giratina against a Alolan Raichu. So what I'll do is I'll like hit the Shadow Ball, that whole animation plays out, but while that's happening, I'll tap again, so that after that Shadow Ball happens, immediately there's a Shadow Claw. But you don't have to do that. I just do that for fun, just to kind of make sure I'm always sneaking those in. So yeah, number 1 mistake that people make is they overtap. So try not to do that. Try to be more aware and deliberate with your taps, and you'll find that rating goes a lot better for you.
So here's an example of me, like my actual hands, dodging. You can see that even though I'm using a fast move like Psycho Cut, I'm not spam tapping. And once I fire a Psychic, I wait before doing anything because I don't want to queue another move. And then I think, so I get Phantom at the end of this clip, and then I use Gardevoir. And Gardevoir is using Charm, which is a very slow move. And so using that, I'm trying to be really careful to not tap too much. Although I think I kind of did there. Dazzling Gleam is slow too. So as soon as I use it, I just like wait a long time until it's done. And then I know it's safe to use a Charm and then swipe, and yeah.
The second issue that I find that people run into is that they are swiping too much, OverSwiping. So if you aren't familiar with the dodge window or using the flash, I was guilty of this at first. I didn't really realize I had to look for that. You might just see like the text come up for the boss's move. So let's say it says, what's the Solar Beam dodge window? Usually if I want to look up these stats about a move, I'll just Google the move name Pokemon Go and then just go to the Game Press link that shows up. So I search Solar Beam Pokemon Go. So the Solar Beam dodge window is at, or damage window, same thing, is at 2.7 seconds. So that means that once the text shows up saying that it's a Solar Beam that's happening, you have 2.7 seconds before you actually have to swipe to dodge. So that means that if you're swiping as soon as you see that text, you will actually have to swipe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times basically, because each dodge takes 0.5 seconds before you actually dodge the move successfully. And sometimes just the way the timing works out, if you're spam swiping to try to dodge, you actually end up missing the dodge just because maybe it slipped in between some of those swipes. So don't do that. So not only is that wasting time, so in this example you're wasting 2.5 to 3 seconds of just swiping instead of doing your own damage. Sometimes that means that you're taking in less energy, because if you actually got in enough fast moves in there, so let's say you're using like Psycho Cut. Psycho Cut has a cooldown of 0.6 seconds. I was looking at that one yesterday. What is that? Yeah, 0.6 seconds. Then in 2.7 seconds, you can always fit in 4 Psycho Cuts. So that means as soon as a Solar Beam window starts, you can do 4 Psycho Cuts and then dodge. instead of wasting your time doing all those dodges.
So to illustrate the importance of one swipe dodging, I'm using my Jirachi versus Porygon raid. This one is the most technically difficult raid I think I've ever done, and I'm pretty proud of it. Yeah, so here the idea is the Hyper Beam damage window is at 3.3 seconds. That's a really long time. And Charge Beam has a cooldown of 1.1 seconds, and Doom Desire has a cooldown of 1.7 seconds. So that means that anytime there's a Hyper Beam, I can always fit in two, maybe even three, I can always fit in 2 Charge Beams before I have to make a dodge. Or I could do like a Charge Beam and a Doom Desire. And it's really important that I try to squeak out as much damage as I can, and I don't just like wait for the flash, and I don't just over dodge, because this raid, it turns out, is actually super, super, super tight on time. And so if I don't get in damage as much as possible, then I'm gonna time out. And it's important that I dodge because I don't have quite enough health to survive only dodging the hyper beams. So I have to dodge both the fast moves and the charge moves. So I can't dodge all the fast moves or else I run out of time. So you'll notice I'm only dodging some of them. And in general, the ones I'm dodging are the ones that line up really nicely with the cooldowns of my moves. So let's see if there's one coming up that shows my point. So that one didn't line up nicely, so I didn't dodge it. That one did. So I just finished a charge beam, and then I got, I think that's tackle. I can't remember actually. Yeah, so that one like just lined up so perfectly with when my previous move had ended, so that when I dodged, I didn't waste any time idling, waiting for the flash or anything like that. The idea is that for a really tight on time raid like this, you want every single second to be productive. So you're either doing like a meaningful dodge or you're attacking. So if getting energy or dealing damage, that kind of thing. Yeah, this was a really fun raid. I'm really proud of this. And I like that, yeah, I like that I had Snowy Boost. I love using Jirachi. Jirachi Maxed is one of the best things you can do, in my opinion. It's a lot of fun to use in Master League and in raids. I'm really hoping to do Jirachi versus Machamp sometime. I'm just gonna play this whole raid out. I haven't rewatched it in months, so it's kind of fun. Oh, man. God, that was so close. I had a lot of early timeouts on previous attempts, but this one worked out. So, anyways, I'm proud of this raid. I hope that kind of illustrates why those long cooldowns mean you have more time to get in some moves, and don't just swipe it, because then you'll run out of time. So,
and sometimes you need to get in all those tiny fast moves that you can, because otherwise you might not be able to beat the boss in time, or if you're idling too much, then the boss can do too much damage to you because you're not getting enough damage out per boss charge move cycle. If that's too complicated, then all you need to know is just dodge with one swipe. That might be tough to do at first. It might take some kind of self-control, but just trust the flash, trust yourself, and practice just by, even in gyms or raids or whatever, only ever dodge using one swipe. That was like one of the best tips I learned when I was first getting into this, was just dodge with one swipe no matter what. Sometimes it's going to fail, sometimes it'll work out, but if you just always only do the one swipe, eventually you'll trust yourself. And I don't know, people think it looks really cool if you always dodge with one swipe, but it's really not hard. All you do is swipe once. So that's probably one of the smallest but biggest improvements you can make. And it all kind of fits in with that general theme of making sure that you're more deliberate with your actions as you're reading. So that's basically it. Those are my dodging tips. I guess another thing I'll probably be bringing up is that the very beginning of the raid, the boss always uses 2 fast moves in a row without the delay between that there normally would be. So a lot of the time I'll like use my first fast move and then dodge and then like kind of keep going. That's basically it. I guess one thing I have to warn you about in good conscience is phantoms. So phantoms are a quirk of the game that only ever happens if you dodge. If you don't ever dodge, you will never see a phantom. What a phantom is when you receive damage that you actually had dodged to prevent before.
Watch my Raiku's HP really closely. So right there, I just lost a ton of HP at once, which didn't make sense when Skarmory was just doing some fast moves. That corresponds exactly to a flash cannon I had dodged earlier on in the raid. And here I was still hopeful I could maybe win, but no. nope. And then I bailed. Yeah.
So, let's say you're using Shadow Mewtwo against a champ. The champ's close combat would do 53 damage to you normally. But if you dodge, you only take 13 damage, which is great. But what if later on in the fight you just randomly lose 40 HP all at once, out of nowhere? Doesn't make sense when it happens, even, or whatever, based on animations. That 40 damage is a phantom, and it sucks. Basically, it ruins a lot of cool 1v1 raid attempts. If you're doing like a T5 raid with a bunch of people, maybe it's not going to ruin everything for you, but when you're trying to do a pretty cool raid challenge, basically a phantom will, I don't know, sabotage that. Sometimes I'll look for matchups that can withstand a phantom on purpose if I'm like, I just want to get a good raid done. Even if it's less ambitious than I'd like it to be, I want it to just have room for a phantom in the HP so I can move on with my life. Yeah, so, I mean, I still find raid challenges rewarding enough that I'm willing to do them, despite phantoms happening every single time I try to do a challenge. But, I don't know. I guess just know that. It sucks, but that's what it is.
There we go. No, what? Time's up? Fuck, no, what? It lagged. I totally had that. Fuck me. Okay. Oh well. Here, what's your, check your card?
I mean, I'm gonna be doing my challenge right now.
Oh shit,
but then, if it doesn't work out, then I can help you again.
That's okay.
So you're using a Charizard?
No, I just chose the best Pokemon I had.
Yeah. See if you have anything super effective. That's
definitely a Jolteon.
Mm-hmm.
So we want thunder, electricity, and what?
Electric grass
Electric
and poison are what you want to go for. Okay. Let's see if this will do it. You can start a lobby.
Sure. How does the dodging work?
So when there is a flash on the screen, you can swipe, and then you will take 25% of the damage that you would have otherwise.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. So poison grass and